Hello everyone. Now, in this video, I'm going to be doing something that I don't normally do. I don't normally do this type of video. I mean, I go through articles, things like, that type of nature. I might go through a video, but it's, from like a legacy media outlet or something like that. Well, lately, Styx has been getting on my nerves, talking out of his ass, basically talking complete shit, thinking he's the smartest man in the room, and he's proven that he's the, least informed fuck out there. He's basically suffering from Spergon of Akkad syndrome, okay? He has gotten to a point where he literally is high on his own farts. And it started to become really apparent when he was on his, multi-platform, I want to be the largest creator bullshit. I saw that and I'm like, give me a fucking break. Dude, you're getting high on your own shit. Yeah, you're the biggest creator on fucking BitChute. All right? Well, at the time, that's like, and I'm on BitChute and I love BitChute. So this is not a knock at BitChute. But that's like being the smartest kid with fucking Down syndrome, dude. All right, Vimeo. That's like being in the same exact situation. Now, so he went off on this anti-vaxxer thing. Now, the people that he's going after aren't actually anti-vaccine. They aren't, anti-getting vaccinations. They're cautious. They want to know what's in these vaccines. They see the actual inserts and they're like, whoa, wait a minute. And then you see how the fact that you have the vaccine manufacturers have government protection in the United States, and it's the American people, the taxpayers, who are the ones who are actually footing the bill for the damages that that their vaccines actually inflict, because they go to a special court that is paid for by us on the note of the court itself, and then the fact of the damages. So he goes on this anti-vaxxer thing, says they're hippies. He basically spurgs out. All right. Now, let me say this right off the bat. I am not an anti-vaxxer. I am not against vaccinations. I am one of those ones who likes to know what I'm putting in my fucking body. Styx, on the other hand, if you haven't seen this video, oh, get jabbed, get your vaccinations. They don't do shit. They don't do this. And we're going to go through this video. But I want to show, before we do that, his comment situation here. Okay? Literally, his video, this is fucking complete projection. Literally, his video is nothing but straw man arguments being made. Literally. Now, here's his comment here. First one, and we're going to look at two others he made, because he doubled and then tripled down. Because people were calling him out in this comment thread. And he's actually, spurgs out. He pulls a Sargon in his third comment. Literally pulls a Sargon. No, I do not support all right, so it says plenty of strawmen here. No, I do not support mandatory vaccines for anyone. But for public health reasons, I do support preventing unvaccinated kids from using a public school. Both mandating vaccination and allowing unvaccinated kids, I'm assuming as kids, into a public school violates the NAP, which is the non-aggression principle. So, denying public access to public places, public schools, those types of things, say going to the town hall or going out on a public street. His argument would be basically that you have to get a fucking jab and have something put into your body because supposedly it violates the non-aggression principle. Stupid fuck. You're not a libertarian when you're saying you either do this or you don't get this. All right, that's not freedom, that's not liberty. Their parents' taxes are paying for it, or so dude, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And the non-aggression principle, a violation of the non-aggression principle would be forcing someone to get a vaccination, you dumb shit. See, as you can tell, this really pissed me off, and I'm sick of him. I'm sick of his fucking crap. All right, I don't care if I upset his little fanboys, because I'm done. This shit pissed me off, and I actually did research. I was going to do a full fucking video and have things fading in and out, the whole fucking spiel. But I just wanted to get this done. So I could get this out there, because it would take me time to do that, and I can't get that done over the weekend. There's no way. So he's saying, you want to go to a public school, you got to get forcefully jabbed. I do agree that the vaccination schedule is overly aggressive, especially with flu added in. That doesn't mean vaccines themselves are an issue. Push for changing the vax schedule, not eliminating vaccines. They're not talking about eliminating vaccines. What they are talking about is getting the things out of the vaccines that are bad, that do not need to be in them. Like squalene, for example. Squalene causes your body to literally attack itself. You have an autoimmune reaction to your own body. They put squalene in vaccines so that they can be fucking cheap with them, you dumb bitch. Okay, how is that healthy for your body, for your own immune system to fucking attack it? Maybe I don't want squalene or mercury or aluminum or anything like that in my body that I, have no control over it being put in, because, you get some company just slapping it in a vaccination. So my choice is I can either take the mercury, the aluminum, the squalene, or I not get vaccinated. That's not being anti-vax. That's being, well, okay, shit, I don't want mercury in my bloodstream. The blood-brain barrier, what they put in these things. You can get those chemicals into your brain, and heavy metals and shit. It's not that. I've been vaccinated. I was vaccinated before all that stuff was put in as a kid. I'm not against vaccinations. If vaccinations were clean, like when I was a kid, I'd be okay, fine. I'd have very little problem with them. You can indeed sue vaccine producers. Wrong, which we're actually going to get into as we go through his video. That is a complete fucking lie, Styx. Proving how he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Not sure why people are claiming otherwise. Well, because it's a fucking fact, you dumb shit. See, dumb fuck has never left Rutland, Vermont. He lives he's lived there his whole life, never experienced the world. Okay, he looks at some shit on the internet, has talked out of his ass. He's actually been lucky on calling some shit when it comes to, say, Trump and stuff like that. But I was saying the same fucking thing. And before I was even on, I was telling people the same shit. Yeah, it's because you can just read that shit. He got lucky. But because he got lucky there, he thinks he's a fucking know-it-all and everything else. But to sue someone, you should first have evidence to corroborate why you were suing. And I love this. Then he does this bullshit straw man argument crap again. This is all fucking projection. All right. I have a friend and their kid has autism and was vaccinated. Is laughable as an argument. That's not their argument, you dumb shit. See, he's literally trying to make it look like the people that are going and contradicting him. This is him spurging out being a dumb fuck, because he can't admit that he was wrong. These people, if you go through the comments on this video, which I'm going to have the link to in the description. If you go through the comments, people are literally linking the shit to him. And the same with on BitChute. Now, let me show you real quick before we go any further. 3.9 thousand likes to 2.6 thousand dislikes. And he's actually trying to say that, how do I put this? They're all hippie, trippy, fucking, granola crunching, don't fucking have proper hygiene, fucking, free love for, types, fucking hippies and shit. BitChute is not hippie central. Far from it. Let me just refresh here to see if it's changed, because this has been sitting here.
All right, everyone.
Okay, it was 127 to 120. He gained 2 more likes. 1,695 views on BitChute. 129 likes to 120 dislikes. And if you saw right before I refreshed it, it was 127 to 120. BitChute has basically become the place where the conservatives, the actual libertarians, not authoritarian shitbricks like him, go out of necessity. We've had to move to other platforms because of shadow banning and not being, not having our content, have alerts for our content go out to other people, go out to our subscribers. Basically just shady, shifty Silicon Valley shit has forced us to move on to other platforms or expand to other platforms. Hippies are not a big makeup of BitChute. Libertarians, conservatives, those types, yes. And I think when you have this many dislikes to likes, your hippie argument is complete fucking horseshit, dude. Complete horseshit. So here's his second comment. This was him doubling down. because people are like pointing out all this shit and they're trying to explain to him things. And he goes, if my firm makes a vaccine and someone dies because a doctor who I do not employ stores it improperly, or the refrigeration unit malfunctioned during transit to a hospital, why the hell should I be liable? Well, first off, you shouldn't have a comma after vaccine. Now, I'm not a grandma Nazi and I fucked up like this myself, but that doesn't read right, Styx. But that could just be your, you know, small town, Rutland, white trashy education. I don't know. See, in that case, if it's the fault of the doctor, which they could be sued in an actual fucking court for like the damages, that's one thing, you know. But if your firm makes a vaccine that causes actual fucking harm, you should be liable. That's common fucking sense. But yet in the United States, vaccine manufacturers are not liable. I mean, come on now. Give me a fucking break, Sticks. This just goes to show your ignorance, boy. You are a fucking boy, too. Because a man, when people are providing you contrary information, would man up and go, okay, maybe I fucked up. Let me look into this, and maybe I'll correct my stance. But see, you're acting like a boy. You're acting like a little bitch. And I'm sick of this shit. Because I watch you, and I get grouped in with you. I get grouped in with Tim Pool. You're both fucking morons. I just want to make my content. I don't want to be grouped in with your fucking shit. So I figured I'd call you out, because I'm done. Because I was just content just sitting there going, yeah, whatever. Okay, I have crossover. But now, you know, I see people like grouping. It's like, no. Put my fucking foot down. Not happening. So here is his, you know, triple down. And it's total bitch. It's like total bitch move. I'm not worried about the judgment of people who go completely insane because I ridicule a position for which there is demonstrably no actual evidence. Okay, you have all these people literally providing you links in these comments, providing contradictory information like facts. And this is your response to it because you don't want to admit you are wrong. So what does he do? This is where he went full Spergon. I invite them to go elsewhere if they want a channel whose owner will hold back on his content because of their feelings. I don't bend, bow, or hold back for anyone. This is like the same fucking shit Baked Alaska pulled with his fucking fans, with his subscribers. And where is he now? Oh, that's right. He's fucking a nobody on the internet, you know. He's a has-been. He's washed up. You want to know why? Because you get so full of yourself, you act like a fucking dipshit. Now, I wanted to show, this is, see if you look, he's averaging 300, 400, 500 subs a day. Okay. All the losses he had yesterday, he ended up negative 11. So 200, 300, 400, 500 subscribers he gained, he lost the same amount. And this has gone up, but if you look over here, this is the day before. 6, 61, 13, 15. Now this is also including where he's gaining. So keep that in mind too. So at this point, he's losing a bunch and he's gaining a few. So then +2, he's -3, -1, -15. Now, you know, small gains and -2. Then you look here, today on the 15th, -1, -2. A wash at 03 at 3 a.m. 0300. 5 at 0400. 1 down 1, down 2, and then he started gaining again. See, this shit should just not be able to go to pass. I mean, I hate to say this, but I think that there should be a mass exodus with the way he's treating his fucking fans here, where he's treating his subscribers. I mean, when you literally say, you know what? I don't care that you're correcting, you know, I don't want to listen to you. You're correcting me and I don't like it. So why don't you get the fuck out? People should be unsubscribing. I unsubscribed when I saw this shit. I did it on both BitChute and fucking YouTube. Oh, and before we get into the actual video, James Allsup had to step in on the spurgery here. And that's another thing. I've actually been classified in with him too, because supposedly I'm a fucking conservative and I'm a racist and all this other shit. which he isn't a racist. I mean, and he's not a white nationalist. I mean, he's like, what, half Filipino or some shit? This is a no-brainer. If you want your kid to die before they're 30, then be my guest. I'm not going to feel sorry for your weak immune system. Well, I can rub germs on my face and just be fine. James, you know what? Kids who aren't vaccinated live past the age of 30, dumb fuck. They do. It's not a problem. They actually tend to can have stronger immune systems because they haven't been compromised by the additives and adjuncts and shit like that are in them. James, aren't you against abortion? Oh, that's right, you are. Do you know that they use aborted fetuses in the production of, we'll say aborted babies / fetuses in the production of these vaccines? That was not a necessity. They didn't need to do that. They just started adding that shit. So how do you like shooting up with dead baby, bitch? I mean, I'm sick of this shit. I mean, they act like the left on this uninformed fucking spurg out shit. They get facts. I mean, because at this point, not a shit ton of facts. People had put shit tons of facts in this thread. And you got also chiming in and being a dipshit. You got Styx, with his first comment. You then have him double down, like trying to deflect. And then you have his third one where he's basically like, you want to contradict me and my bullshit and show me facts that don't line up with it? Well, then get the fuck out. I mean, this is some fucked up shit. And he's trying to say that these people are insane. He's the one acting insane. Anyway, what am I doing? I can just go to this one. Okay, so I've basically laid this out where I went through the whole video. I spent last night on this. And I did bulleted points. I did timestamps, the whole spiel. So we're going to go into this here. And let's get into this right now.
All right, everyone, it's time to talk about the anti-vaxxer thing, sort of the movement against vaccines in general. One point of overlap that I have is I don't believe that the flu vaccine specifically is particularly important. Like, if I had a kid, I'd get them vaccinated. Absolutely, 100%. Like, I was vaccinated for everything back when I was a little kid. I didn't, like, magically get autism or go blind or become infertile or any of the other things. Like, some people believe that if you get vaccinated, it does all these horrible things, but I notice that they're the same sort of people that talk about how they shoot colloidal silver in vinegar every day, and it's a little bit hippy-dippy. Or the people that say, like, fluoride, this and that, calcified my pineal gland, now I can't contact the aliens anymore. So strange things like that.
Okay. Styx. Wow. You start off right off the bat with a straw man fucking argument. Right off the bat. And you're talking about people with straw man arguments. Your whole video is a fucking straw man argument. Just because you didn't have adverse effects when you got poked and prodded and jabbed doesn't mean that other people didn't have them. Huh. Yet you try to use the argument, well, just like if you saw in the second comment, well, I know someone who had autism, not an argument. Well, guess what, fuckwit? This is not an argument. It's a straw man. From there, I'm not a hippie, nor do I shoot vinegar or colloidal silver, bitch. I'm way more fucking masculine than you with your fucking little bitch fucking hairdo. Okay, and your soy boy fucking scrawny ass physique. Huh. And yet, everyone who's calling you out on this shit is a hippy dippy trippy fucking lefty type. Get bent. And I will say this, colloidal silver, for the record, is actually a very good antifungal, antimicrobial, antiviral, antibiotic substance. It has worked for me better than actual antibiotics when it comes to sinus infections. And I have a very fucked up sinuses. I mean, shit, dude, you're fucking ignorant. And this thing with fluoride, you do realize that the Nazis and the fucking communists, the Soviets, used fluoride to control groups of the population, right? Documented fucking historical fact, dumb shit. And it is not good for the body. At least the fluoride that they put in the water, because they put sodium fluoride. See, calcium fluoride, which occurs naturally, that can be found in drinking water as a result, and as a result, is far better for someone than fluoride used in most municipalities. Sodium fluoride, which is the most common one used, is a byproduct of fertilizer production and is collected from the smokestack scrubbing process. Yeah, I really want to put the byproduct of fucking fertilizer production in my body. See, I'm not game for that, actually. But you see, you want to act like the ignorant fuck that you are, talk out your ass, and you honestly buy into your shit now. You are so high on your fucking farce and think you're the smartest man in the room. You are literally showing yourself you're not the smartest man in the room. You're the smartest guy with Down syndrome with this shit. The sodium fluoride is the compound that the Soviets and the Nazis used. In our case, the byproduct of fertilizer production, it contains toxins like arsenic, mercury, lead, and beryllium. Do you really want to put those things in your body? Because I sure as shit don't. Sodium fluoride, also, dumb fuck, was rat poison. Rat poison, dude. So let's see what two people who have way more of a fucking clue than you have to say about fluoride. Now, these are two letters, and I've actually looked them up. So you have Charles Perkins, who is a research chemist, okay? And then you also have Dr. E.H. Bronner, who's actually a relative of Einstein. So good gene stock there. Okay, he's like a nephew or a cousin or some shit. I can't remember exactly. Here is a letter that Charles Perkins sent to the Lee Foundation for Nutritional Research in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, back in 1954 in October. I have your letter of September 29th asking for further documentation regarding a statement made in my book, The Truth About Water Fluoridation, to the effect that the idea of water fluoridation was brought to England from Russia by Russian communist Kremenov. In the 1930s, Hitler and the German Nazis envisioned a world to be dominated and controlled by a Nazi philosophy of pan-Germanism. The German chemists worked out a very ingenious and far-reaching plan of mass control, which was submitted to and adopted by the German General Staff. This plan was to control the population in any given area through mass medication of drinking water supplies. By this method, they could control the population in whole areas, reduce population by water medication that would produce sterility in women, and so on. In this scheme of mass control, sodium fluoride occupied a prominent place. Repeated doses of infinitesimal amounts of fluoride will in time reduce an individual's power to resist domination by slowly poisoning and narcotizing a certain area of the brain and making him submissive to the will of those who wish to govern him. A convenient and cost-effective light lobotomy. And that's actually a question. And it looks like it was added here. The real reason behind water fluoridation is not to benefit children's teeth. If this were the real reason, there are many ways in which it could be done that are much easier, cheaper, and far more effective. The real purpose behind water fluoridation is to reduce the resistance of the masses to domination, control, and loss of liberty. When the Nazis under Hitler decided to go to Poland, both the German General Staff and Russian General Staff exchanged scientific and military ideas, plans, and personnel, and the scheme of mass control through water medication were seized upon by Russian communists because it fitted ideally into their plans to communize the world. I was told of this entire scheme by a German chemist who was an official at the great IG Farben Chemical Industries and was also prominent in the Nazi movement at the time. I say this with all earnestness and sincerity of a scientist who has spent nearly 20 years research into the chemistry, biochemistry, physiology, and pathology of fluorine. Any person who drinks artificially fluorinated water for a period of 1 year or more will never again be the same mentally or physically. Signed, Charles E. Perkins, chemist, 2 October 1954. So, Styx, what was that about fluoride, you dumb fuck? I guess you've been drinking that shit down. I don't know if Rutland has fluoride. Now this one, the next one here, from Dr. E.H. Bronner. So this is to corroborate Perkins' testimony, okay? Another letter needs to be quoted at length to help corroborate Mr. Perkins' testimony. This letter was written by a brilliant and objectively honest scientist named Dr. E.H. Bronner. Dr. Bronner was a nephew of the great Albert Einstein, served time in a World War II prison camp, and wrote the following letter printed in the Catholic Mirror from Springfield, Mass. In January 1952. It appears that the citizens of Massachusetts are among the next on the agenda of the water poisoners. There is a sinister network of subversive agents, godless intellectual parasites, working in our country today whose ramifications grow more extensive, more successful, and more alarming each new year, and whose true objective is to demoralize, paralyze, and destroy our great republic from within if they can, according to the plan for their own possession. The tragic success they have already obtained in their long siege to destroy the moral fiber of American life is now one of the most potent footholds toward their own ultimate victory over us. Fluoridation of our community water systems can well become the most subtle weapon for our sure physical and mental deterioration. As a research chemist of established standing, I built within the past 22 years 3 American chemical plants and licensed 6 of my 53 patents. Based on my years of practical experience in health, food, and chemical field, let me warn, fluoridation of drinking water is criminal insanity, not criminal insanity, sure national suicide. Do not do it. Even in very small quantities, sodium fluoride is a deadly poison to which no effective antidote has been found. Even every exterminator knows that it is the most effective rat killer. Sodium fluoride is entirely different from organic calcium fluorophosphate, needed by our bodies and provided by nature, in God's great providence and love, to build and strengthen our bones and our teeth. The organic calcium fluorophosphate, derived from proper foods, is an edible organic salt, insoluble in water and assailable by the human body, whereas the non-organic sodium fluoride used in fluoridating water is instant poison to the body and fully water soluble. The body refuses to assimilate it. Careful, bona fide laboratory experimentation by conscientious, patriotic research chemists and actual medical experience have both revealed that instead of preserving or promoting dental health, fluoridated drinking water destroys teeth before adulthood and after by the destructive modeling and other pathological conditions it actually causes in them, and also creates many other very grave pathological conditions in the internal organisms of bodies consuming it. How then can it be called a health plan? What's behind it? That any so-called doctors would persuade a civilized nation to add voluntarily a deadly poison to its drinking water system is unbelievable. It is the height of criminal insanity. No wonder Hitler and Stalin fully believed and agreed from 1939 to 1941 that, quoting from both Lenin's last will and Hitler's Mein Kampf, America shall be demoralized, divided, and destroyed from within. Are our civil defense organizations and agencies awake to the perils of water poisoning by fluoridation? Its use has been recorded in other countries. Sodium fluoride water solutions are the cheapest and most effective rat killers known to chemists. Colorless, odorless, tasteless, no antidote, no remedy, no hope. Instant and complete extermination of rats. Fluoridation of water systems can be slow national suicide or quick national liquidation. It is criminal insanity, treason. Signed, D.H. Broner, research chemist, Los Angeles. So, Styx, what was that about fluoride, you dumb fuck? You dumb, small town, never left it, white trash, live in a trailer piece of shit who basically attacked his fans, who basically called anyone who doesn't buy into your shit and suck your dick like V sucks Sargons, okay, and go, yes, you're so right, V, you're so right, Styx. Get bent. Right there. I've just 48 seconds in. I just made you look like a fucking dipshit. And we're not done. We're going to keep going, fucker. Guess what? This is going to be fun. Now, the next segment is a little over a minute. So bear with me. But we're going to go through section by section. And yeah, I'm going to just smack him around like the bitch he is with this.
I'm thinking to myself this. Vaccines save lives. It's pretty well regarded. It's pretty ironclad that it is a helpful thing for this world. I do happen to believe, like some people, in this article actually I think alludes to this, if I remember correctly, saying, well, you know, these people, they want to focus more on sanitation stuff that's ineffective. Well, maybe so. I do believe sanitation and the eradication of host reservoirs is a good thing. I think we should go back to the DDT era. Yeah, absolutely. I think we should wipe as many disease vectors out as possible. We should do comprehensive studies to see the environmental impact, and I mean studies not conducted by a bunch of hippies, like the eggshells got thinner because of DDT lie that's been largely discredited at this point. You know, the African nations are begging for us to start producing it and give it to them to fight malaria, so give them the DDT, dude. I don't really care. It's not even in this country. Sell them the fucking DDT. All their government and people want it. If it saves a bunch of people from dying of malaria, so be it. Oh my god, some tree frog went extinct. Fuck it. Who gives a shit? It's my basic reading of it.
Guess what, Styx? I hate to break it to you, but it was things like proper sanitation, clean water, and proper hygiene that are literally what have almost, literally are what have almost driven to extinction. All those diseases that you're talking about, that you're going to talk about or have talked about in regards to their eradication, them being wiped out, that's because of those things, not because of vaccines. If you look at actual charts of diseases, there's these sharp drops, and then there really isn't that much of a drop once all these vaccines start getting introduced. A small one, but proper hygiene, proper sanitation, clean water. They contributed more than anything else. I mean, most of it, as I said, happened before vaccinations really became a thing. There was already a sharp decline before Salk's polio vaccine hit the market. Okay, now let's get into the DDT shit here, boy. Okay, because you need to go learn history on the note of what actually led to the wiping out of a majority of diseases. Being those things that I already mentioned. And you need to go learn history on the note of DDT, aka Agent Orange, and what it's done for damages. Because if you knew an inkling of fucking history, let's give them DDT. Mind you, there are shit tons of fucking Vietnam veterans who were sprayed with the shit, who had exposure to it even mild. It didn't matter if they were doused or if they got mild exposure. A lot of them got sick. A lot of them ended up with major health problems. I mean, here, Agent Orange, History Channel. Talks about the history, okay? United States, Washington Post, Blue Water Navy, which were the Navy guys that ran on the rivers in Vietnam. When Agent Orange benefits case. Vietnam veterans Agent Orange exposure. Okay? Science News. Talks about them getting their, benefits and shit like that there's a proven issue. The U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs, exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam, which on this page it talks about, which needs to be updated because of the Blue Water veterans, but how they get VA benefits from exposure. Yeah, but you're like, oh yeah, DDT's no big deal. All these people have been fucked up by it. And you're going, oh yeah, give them DDT. What the fuck are you smoking, dude? Because, you say you gave up weed. Are you smoking fucking crack to talk like that? I mean, there's a lot of information on this subject. And it has caused a host of issues with plants and animals. I mean, if it'll cause problems with human beings, complex organisms like us, you don't think it's going to fuck with animals? You don't think it's going to fuck with plant life? It's a fucking defoliant. It's used to kill mosquitoes. Or at least it was, until it was banned in the United States. Come on now, Styx. I mean, it's not smart to basically bring a nuke to fight fucking mosquitoes. You'll get rid of the mosquitoes, but you're literally going to fucking destroy everything else in the process. Come on now. You don't care if it wipes out a tree frog, dude. Causing mass extinction of an otherwise healthy species using an overkill approach is fine with you? Seriously? Dude, you are a fucking piece of work, and you think you know it all, and you think you know better. Well, you talk like you're some fucking expert here. Oh, well, let's just wipe out a fucking species. They want it, just give it to them. Fuck off. Oh, DDT never hurt anyone. What the fuck are you on? I mean, who cares if it's some tree frog? So what if it controls a population of other animals? Like, I don't know, the mosquitoes you're trying to eradicate? Because frogs eat bugs. Holy shit. Fucking idiot.
And I'm an environmentalist, so just think about people that are actually like total anthropogenic industry and dystopian hellfire and stuff.
Yeah, you're an environmentalist. Yeah, let's put a chemical in the fucking environment that's fucked a lot of shit up, that is slowly killing Vietnam-era veterans. Yeah! Real fucking smart stick. Fucking Styx, you dumb shit. Seriously.
Looking at vaccines there, number one, they are generally effective. Number two, yes, occasionally you will have a spoiled vaccine that causes someone illness. Occasionally a person will die because they have some sort of weird immune reaction, like a cytokine storm or something. That's possible. But the odds of that happening are considerably lower than the odds of them getting killed or disfigured or something by the diseases those vaccines prevent. The vast majority of all Americans have been vaccinated for measles. The vast majority of those people have never gotten measles. It's effective. They suffered no complications. It did not harm them in any way. And yet now you have this weird social movement of hippie granola crunchers that says...
I'm sorry. I just got to stop this for a second. You don't know how hard it is for me right now to be biting my fucking tongue. Just wait until we're up to 3 minutes and 27 seconds. We're at 2:46 right now. Just wait. Because I'm going to lose my shit. Because he's being a fucking dumb fuck, talking out his ass here.
Well, I'm not putting that in my kid's body. Measles is perfectly fine and safe. Okay. Let's say, though, that your kid is that 1 in 100 that dies of measles or suffers some permanent complication. You know, oh, I hear ringing my ears every day now. I'm miserable or something. All right, how are you going to feel thereafter? Now, they're probably going to reject the anti-vaxxer thing, you fucking hippie. Or even worse, think of it this way. Your kid's fine. You know, they get the measles the normal way, but then they give it to some immunocompromised kid who then dies. You should be held, you should be held liable for that if there's a proven connection. Absolutely, you should be able to be litigated in a civil court. You caused the death of their child. It was preventable. You did it through your own stupidity.
Styx. All that was straw man fucking bullshit, dude. Not only that, what about personal responsibility on the note of, I don't know, the compromised? I'm getting ahead of myself. When diseases are not prevalent, it is an assumption vaccines are generally effective. Sticks. You're making that assumption. I hate to break it to you, but who's to say that it isn't proper sanitation? You know, those three things. You know, sanitation, hygiene, proper hygiene, and clean water that have contributed most to that. Oh wait, it is. See, but you're making an assumption, and you're making straw man arguments here. You talk about other people actually presenting fucking facts, you dumb shit. And you go, they're putting out straw man. Dude, all you've done here is put out fucking straw man arguments. On top of this, let's go here. Guess what, Styx? I hate to break it to you, but the MMR efficacy was falsified by Merck. In this article, I will have a link to it. Former Merck scientist sue Merck alleging MMR vaccine efficacy fraud. Do you know what they did? They put like animal antibodies in it. They did like really shady shit to make it look like the MMR vaccine was way more effective than it actually was. And you're going to go, it's generally safe and effective. That's going by Merck's own shit, which they faked, you dumb fuck. Oh my God. As you can tell, I'm sorry. I apologize for my language, but this shit really pisses me off. Because I get grouped in with this stupid fuck because you got Styx going, I'm a libertarian. And I got, and I am an actual libertarian. So I get grouped in with this dumb shit. And I disavow. And I'm sorry for eating the mic there, but I disavow. Safety is a concern with anything you put into your body, including vaccines, Styx. If they weren't causing so many problems when it comes to kids, then why was the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act created in 1986? Oh, look at here from the National Vaccine Information Center, which actually was the lobbying group that pushed for this. The National Vaccine Injury Act of 1986. NVIC's co-founders worked with Congress on the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act of 1986, which acknowledged that vaccine injuries and deaths are real and that the vaccine injured and their families should be financially supported and that the vaccine safety protections were needed in the mass vaccination system. Oh, wait, it gets even better. The law established the National Vaccine Injury Compensation Program, which was created to ensure vaccine supply, stabilize vaccine costs, and establish a no-fault compensation alternative for those injured by vaccines. Currently, the U.S. Court of Federal Claims decides vaccine injury claims, and 3 federal government offices jointly work to administer the NVICP. Didn't you say you could sue the vaccine manufacturers? Didn't you say that like some fucking expert? And when people corrected you, didn't you spurg out? Oh, that's right. You did. You stupid fuck. Another thing I just destroyed you on. Another thing, boy. You fucking little bitch. You're the people that you fucking called hippie trippy and said that they're whacked out of their head. They all deserve a fucking apology at this point. And I'm not even done. So the law preserved the right for vaccine-injured persons to bring a lawsuit in the court system if federal compensation is denied or is not sufficient. So yeah, they're going for federal compensation. They get denied. Then they can sue the federal government. By 2018, the U.S. Court of Claims had awarded nearly $4 billion in vaccine victims for their catastrophic vaccine injuries, although 2 out of 3 applicants have been denied compensation. The law also included legal requirements for vaccine providers. Okay, so here's the thing. 1986 to 2006 is 20 years. 2016 is 30 years. We're at 33 years, Styx. And they've paid out $4 billion, but vaccines are safe. Okay. This is when there are heavy metals like mercury, aluminum, and others that are in the modern vaccines, which weren't in them when I was a kid growing up. Then you have, to compound things like squalene, which doesn't play well with the human body and causes it to attack itself. There is the biological matter from aborted fetuses and babies, along with different species of animal in them. I mean, come on now. I mean, this should make you go, oh, maybe I should, be cautious about them? I might not be anti-vax, but maybe I should be a little cautious because this shit is going in my body. The argument regarding not vaccinating a child for measles is nothing but a complete straw man that you made. If a kid's immune system is compromised, it is up to the parent to make sure they are not exposed to something that could harm them. It's not up to society. It is not up to me to make sure that my child doesn't go near them. It is their parents' responsibility and their own responsibility. It is not the state's responsibility, as I said. An actual libertarian would know and understand that one. Proving you are not a fucking libertarian. You are a fucking lefty masquerading as one. You are a fraud. You are a fucking sham. You are an authoritarian on the inside. If the boy in the bubble walks out and gets the sniffles and dies, it is not the responsibility of the person who had the sniffles that he caught it from. It is that kid's responsibility for walking out of his area of safety. And that is on the parent and the kid for doing it. It's called personal responsibility, Styx. Maybe you should take it and stop being a fucking cocksucker like you are to your fans with this shit and your subscribers. Trying to go, just dismissing them, go, well, you're just some fucking hippie. Moving on.
Yeah, what I would say is this. If someone wants to not vaccinate their kid, then homeschool them. No public school, no public assistance of any kind for your kid, insofar as they're not vaccinated. It is a threat to certain other children who cannot be vaccinated because of immune problems or whatever, or some disease. Maybe they're a hemophiliac. They literally can't have a needle put in their arm. They'll die. They'll bleed out if you try to do it. They've got other problems. They got sickle cell or something like that and can't do the blood thing. You get all of these different potential problems, and you're endangering these people.
Guess what? Styx, when you're saying that, it's proof that you are an authoritarian. Plain and simple. And who the fuck are you to say who can and cannot use public spaces and services? You're just some fucking nobody spurging out on the internet in Vermont. Shut the fuck up. Where kids who aren't vaccinated should be forced to be homeschooled, shouldn't their parents be allowed to not pay the portion of their property taxes that go to education? I mean, if you're going to be, oh wait, no, you're an authoritarian, who claims to be a libertarian, you'd still make them fucking pay. I mean, it would only be fair, but the state is just going to compel it. No public assistance of any kind means forced state compelled vaccination or things certain family, or it's, you can't have certain things that families need. That would mean no WIC, depriving children of milk and other basic necessities. No EBT/food stamps because the child couldn't be counted towards the assistance. Then there is no housing assistance for the families. So what if the kid's forced to live outside and freezes to death? You're going to blame the fact that they didn't have a fucking vaccination as why they caught, deathly ill? You're going to say that's why they froze to death? Summer camp run by a public program? Oh, kids can't go. That wouldn't be the parents' fault. It would be your fault if you had your way, and I would make sure to tell the kids that. Oh, you can't go to summer camp because this fucking authoritarian piece of shit in Vermont thinks because you haven't been vaccinated and even though you're perfectly healthy, you can't go to a public-funded summer camp. Now, let's talk about hemophiliacs. You know what, dumb shit? You know nothing about them. If a hemophiliac is being treated, they will not bleed to death if they are pricked by a needle, because they are having the blood factor that they are missing replaced as part of the treatment. Needles are how the treatment's administered. They can get shots. As a result of that, they are vaccinated. They're not immunocompromised. They're perfectly fine. Again, straw man argument, talking out your fucking ass on something you know nothing about. They actually have a higher chance of getting something from being treated than from the general public, being that they are getting a blood product, as I've already said, as part of their treatment. That's how Ryan White got AIDS in the 1980s, for fuck's sake. Sickle cell sufferers, they can be vaccinated. They need to be vaccinated for specific things, actually, Styx. That means your argument is complete and total bullshit. Look right here. Immunizations play the role in the treatment of sickle cell. So you need for monococcal immunizations, meninococcal immunizations, Haemophilus influenza. There are others as well. And then you look here, another one. This is from the CDC. Vaccines are a great way to prevent many serious infections. And this is from infections and sickle cell disease. See? Top 5 tips are helping prevent. And they talk about vaccines are a great way to prevent serious infections. Children and adults with sickle cell disease should get all recommended vaccinations, including flu vaccination. People with sickle cell disease are considered high risk for certain infections and should follow a special vaccination schedule for the following vaccines. So they get vaccinated. Your argument is completely fucking moot. Talking out your ass. Not a good thing, especially when your head is up it.
Herd immunity has begun to break down in some of these hippie-trippy areas and cause others to become sick. You actually have enough hosts now for an outbreak to happen. It wasn't really that way for the most part in most communities in the Western world. Measles was basically, not eradicated. There are still a few cases, but it's like
herd immunity is breaking down not because of some people leery of vaccinations, because of things like the chemicals and unnecessary foreign biological matter in them sticks. That's not why. But if you want to tell yourself that, go right ahead. Those hippie, trippy cities all have one thing in common that you seem to fucking ignore, buddy. You're either too stupid to do it, to notice it, or you're purposely ignoring it. It's one or the other. Pretty much every one of them where measles has become a thing are sanctuary cities. Simple correlation. Maybe it could be the people that are really coming to this country illegally that have not been vaccinated, or maybe they have, but they're carrying it. It could be foreign people that are carriers of it that are causing this. Be a lot easier to find out if we had a secure border. It's more likely that they're a contributing factor to these outbreaks, okay? Because, you have more than a few illegals who have been caught crossing the border that have been living petri dishes of disease to back this up. So are you going to get the state to force them to get vaccinated when the state won't do anything about them in these cities they reside in? You going to do that? The countries that illegals are coming from, coincidentally, are the ones where measles have also not been eradicated. Go figure. Simple fucking math here. This isn't like 60 degrees of separation. This is 1 + 1 could equal 2. Or 1 + X = 2.
Like the plague. We haven't eradicated the plague in North America, but through a combination of sanitization and an understanding of disease and quarantine and getting people prompt treatment, there are like a couple cases a year or something of it. Mostly relegated, I believe, to Nevada, if I remember correctly. There's some mountains out there with some mice or fucking rodents that get the plague once in a while. It becomes a problem. I think a couple people at Yellowstone get the plague once, if I remember correctly. I could be thinking of the wrong park. couple people died of it, I think. They had a plague outbreak in China, and they cordoned off the whole town with tanks and threatened to kill anyone who tried to leave while the hazmat suits went in. Very effective, although maybe slightly dystopian.
There are less cases of people infected with the plague than most diseases, Styx. Straw man argument. You want to know why the plague is pretty much limited to those areas? Again, proper hygiene, proper sanitation, clean water. Because you don't have rats and other carriers within the city limits or within the town limits spreading disease. And what rodents you do have within those population centers tend to be less disease-ridden because the city or the town itself is cleaner. And plague is, as an example, is not remotely related to this schedule. I mean, this discussion, your video, this discussion, because we're talking about communicable diseases that you normally see here, like measles and shit like that, because we're talking vaccinations. You don't get vaccinated for the plague. Total tangent, total straw man argument. Now, the next thing is segment is going to be about a minute long here, and then we're going to go through. I mean, we're getting through this now quicker. I apologize for the length of this video because I know it's going to be long, but I needed to go through every little fucking thing and destroy him because I'm sick of this shit. What he did to his subscribers here was fucking vile. Calling them names and shit because they're actually showing him facts, and then Spergon out going with his fingers in his ears going, no, I'm not going to listen. So, yeah. Anyway.
No, vaccines are safe. If I had a kid, I'd get him vaccinated. The only thing I probably would hold back on is the flu. And that's just, it's not because, well, they're going to get autism if they have too many flu vaccines. Oh, my God. No, it's more like, hey, if they give the wrong vaccine out, because producing the flu vaccine in large enough quantities is difficult, it'll only be like 10% effective, and the kid's probably not going to die of influenza. It's not a particular problem, and it's going to go pandemic anyway. Like, so few people get vaccinated, it's already a pandemic every single year. So if someone's got an immune problem and the flu's around, my kid not being vaccinated, maybe getting the flu, is not adding that much to the mix, and if they get vaccinated, even if it's effective, it's not removing that much from it either. That's what I would say. But for something like measles, rubella, the mumps, all of these things, yes, get your fucking kids vaccinated.
Get your fucking kids vaccinated. Who the fuck are you to tell someone when you don't have kids what they should be doing with their kids? You don't have kids? You shut the fuck up. You don't tell someone how to raise their kids. Ignorant fuck. Maybe so. Well, shit, I'm sure with how shitty your mom raised you, obviously. People tried to tell her how to do it. Did it work? No. Talk about the hypocrisy here, okay? The flu, aka influenza, it has decimated large swaths of the population multiple times over in recorded history, but he's not worried about it. Measles hasn't killed nearly as many people in an epidemic in comparison. Now, mind you, these are two lists that other people, have created of the 10 biggest plagues or deadliest plagues. Let's look at these real quick because I want to show you something. You don't see a measles epidemic, do you? Because look, you've got 10 deadliest epidemics in history. This is from bestpublichealthschool.org. Oh, excuse me. Native American smallpox, because they were just susceptible to it. A lot of carriers. The third cholera pandemic of 1846 to 1863. The Asian flu epidemic, 1856 to 1858. Oh, guess what? Asian flu. Influenza. Cholera and smallpox so far. So we've already got one influenza here. You got the Antonine Plague, 165 to 180 AD. You got the 30 Years' War with typhus plague epidemic, 1618 to 1648. I don't see any mumps. I don't see measles. The third plague pandemic, 1855 to 1959. Still neither of those. Plague of Justinian. HIV/AIDS. Spanish flu. Oh, another influenza. And then the Black Death. Do you see measles there or mumps? Nope. Okay. Well, let's look at the other one. 10 deadliest ones, okay? Another 10 of the worst pandemics in history. HIV/AIDS at its peak, 2005 to 2012. Well, unless you're like having gay unprotected sex while shooting up heroin or fucking meth in a truck stop bathroom, you should be fine on AIDS. Just saying. The flu pandemic of 1968, Asian flu of 1956 to 58, flu pandemic 1918, Sixth cholera pandemic, 1910 to 1911. Flu pandemic, 1889 to 1890. Third cholera pandemic, Black Death, the plague of Justinian, Antoine plague. Huh, Styx. Multiple cases of flu pandemics, influenza. You're the one you're going, oh, I'm not worried about. But not one for measles, mumps, or rubella. Go figure. Measles, mumps, and rubella generally don't kill people. They do recover. Or has, same with the flu, but the flu has done way more. So, I mean, next year. Let's just see how many people died during the Spanish flu. Estimates around the number of people killed globally range from earlier figures of around 40 to 50 million to more recent calculations of up to 100 million. It is thought that approximately 10 to 20% of those infected during the pandemic lost their lives. That's a lot of fucking people. And you're worried about measles, mumps, and rubella, but flu, no big deal. Go figure. Which should go to show you're saying don't take the flu vaccination because, you still could get it. I mean, you could still die. But, measles, mumps, and rubella, generally not deadly diseases. Oh, you got to get the vaccination for that. You don't want to be vaccinated. You don't want your kid vaccinated. Well, they can't go to public schools. They can't use public things. They can't do this. They can't do that. You're a fucking authoritarian piece of shit for this, dude. You truly are. I mean that.
I've got these people throwing all sorts of stupidity at me. Well, it causes autism. No, it doesn't. No vaccines don't cause autism, you
okay, you doctor.
fucking moron. No, the reason why the autism rate looks like it's rising is because they developed the idea of the autism spectrum. It used to be autistic meant you're autistic. Now it means autism is you don't like to make eye contact. Or you're kind of socially awkward. You're kind of avoidant. You have pronoun problems. A million different things can get you listed as autistic. They overdiagnose it. They did this with ADHD. Half the ADHD kids never needed Ritalin. They dosed me up on Ritalin. Do I look like I have a fucking problem? I manage my time just fine, trust me. Not an issue.
Well, Styx, okay. Here you are. Strawman attack after strawman attack, and now you're making claims of people throwing stupidity at you with this autism claim. That's another strawman, including what followed it. Vaccines can cause autism, actually. That is according to the CDC website, Styx, you fuckwit, dipshit. See for your fucking self. God fucking damn it. Dude, you are an ignorant fuck. CDC website, cdc.gov, okay? This is from their own thing. This is from 2018, bitch. Autism spectrum disorder. Let's see, autism. 1,565 reported cases of autism from a vaccination. Autism spectrum disorder, 231. This is from the MMR. Let me go up here. This is from the MMR vaccination, you fucking bitch. See? MMR. Let's go back down. Come on. Just so you can see again. So you can't accuse me of fucking faking this shit, motherfucker. Autism. 1,565 cases. Autism spectrum disorder. 231. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. You talk out your fucking ass. You just got proven a fucking liar. Or dumb as fuck and uneducated on a particular subject you're talking about. From there, you got to look at this fact of, you get the CDC data. Oh, and then look at this. What did Japan do? Oh, that's right. Japan government continues to ban the MMR vaccine because they had rises in autism and other complications. See? Not only is this written here of Vac Truth, just so you can see, because I don't want you to say, oh, I'm being selective. This is the Daily Mail, dumb fuck. Why Japan banned MMR vaccine. You're telling people that they should be compelled to shoot their kids up when you have none. Fuck you, dude. Seriously. All right, and for the record, autism has always been on a spectrum. It's not been you're either autistic or you're not. They used to refer to it as a functionality scale prior to today. The less autistic you were, the higher on the functionality scale you were. They actually mentioned the functionality scale in the movie Rain Man in referral to the character Raymond and what he could do on his own. How much of a functional member of society he could be. See, they used to judge autism by how much you could actually do and interact with in regards to society. See, now they changed it because, autism's on the spectrum. It was always on a fucking spectrum. It was just, we can't just say that he's full out autistic and say, like it's yes or no, because you're either autistic or you're not, regardless of the spectrum, because we don't want to hurt their feelings. You're fucked in the head, dude. And this idea, not making eye contact is, no, it doesn't work like that. Because not making eye contact by itself isn't something used to classify someone as autistic. There are multiple things used. You need to tick multiple boxes to be classified as autistic. And you're ticking a few of them, buddy. By your bullshit logic here, I've smoked myself autistic before, and I would have been diagnosed as such because I was high as a kite and didn't want people to see it in my eyes. Just saying, even though that's not how it works. But that's your logic. I would have been classified autistic, temporarily autistic because I was stoned. Give me a fucking break, you dumb shit. Even an autistic could see you have a problem with ADHD, by the way. All right, ADHD and ADD are not necessarily about organization or managing time. In your case, with your tonality here, it sure sounds like you are trying to overcompensate and to imply something that is not true. As in, I think you are full of shit on not having problems managing your time. You are clearly a fucking ADHD spurg.
And basically, his parents said, well, little Jimmy can't sit still. Well, yeah, little Jimmy's 4 fucking years old. What do 4-year-olds do? They run everywhere. They don't want to shut up. They're going to ask questions constantly. They're going to disrupt things. They're going to test limits. It's not ADHD. That's being a kid. You tried to beat it out of me, and it didn't quite work. I was never beaten,
Sounds like there's a little resentment there, Styx. Did your white trash mommy drug you up because she couldn't handle you being a spurg as a child? Because it sure sounds like it. It really does.
Get the idea. As far as autism, it's the same thing. Then these people are like, well, I take vinegar shots every day. Vaccines cause autism.
Why is this even necessary to say? No need for it except to try to demonize and attack the people who validly question the safety of vaccines. Nothing more. It's an ad hominem. It's a personal attack. It's a straw man. It is just you being an infantile dick making baseless claims.
And then they're like, well, it's not 100% effective. Well, yeah, not in all cases. Certain vaccines are like 99% effective or something. The only one I'll give you that on, again, is flu, where it's like, if you get the wrong vaccine in the wrong year, it's like it doesn't even do anything. Yeah, it's excessive.
Jesus Christ, dude. No one disputes they are not 100% effective. You using it here is about attacking people who question vaccine safety. Merck failed. They faked, the effectiveness of the MMR vaccine it produces, which I already got into. When that's the case, other vaccines could be in similar circumstances. Holy shit. They have no accountability because the federal government absolved them. Even though you say they can be sued when they can't. If Merck didn't care about effectiveness and with that actual vaccine safety, who is to say that there aren't other aspects of this one that are detrimental to one's health besides? Just think about that.
Yeah, it's totally moronic. You might as well just say, well, just get plenty of fluids and rest. Have some chicken soup. Give your kid, your kid's got a sore throat, give him a bowl of ice cream or something. Use the Chloraseptic or something. Give him an ibuprofen for the fever if you need to, and children's Tylenol or whatever. They're not going to die of the flu. They'll probably be fine. On that one, I'll give that one to you.
Yet, millions of people have been killed by the flu. 50 to 100 million with the Spanish flu. Okay. And how generous of you to give us the flu. For the record, there have been multiple influenza epidemics, pandemics that have killed millions of people over the years, meaning the flu can kill and has done so en masse. Is it likely to kill people? Of course not. But it has happened with a massive death toll in its, it has happened and has left a massive death toll in its wake. Jesus Christ, dude.
Then somebody brought up the Amish. Well, the Amish don't get vaccinated. I'm like, yeah, the Amish also don't mill about in public places mixing with other people on a regular basis. They have their own communities. Most of their time is spent thereupon. If their kid is, and one of them is like, well, I see the Amish in Walmart. I'm like, yeah, okay, they're selling cookies. Do you think that their kid who's currently sick isn't in bed having their Amish recipe fucking folk medicine at the time? No, they're probably like, putting leeches on the kid. That kid's busy being treated the Amish way. They're not going out into society when they're sick.
Oh my God. This example is actually a good one to show how dumb fuck here clearly knows nothing about them, the Amish. Or is just a lying sack of shit.
And he knows that they destroy his argument, which I'm thinking it's just he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I mean, where he's clearly suffering from Spergon of Akkad syndrome, I'm going to go with he's clueless. Because one of the symptoms of it is thinking you are smarter than you really are. And this right here is a good example of thinking you're smarter than what you are, that you know more than you actually do. The Amish actually do interact with outsiders quite extensively. You know, the English, that's what they call us, non-Amish. Amish kids have been known to actually go to public schools, which you try to act and say, oh, no, they don't. And, you know, you try to pull this argument. So let's see. Right here. This is from AmishAmerica.com. Do Amish children attend public schools? In some communities, public school attendance is relatively high. These include Holmes County, Ohio, and the Elkhart-LaRange County settlement in northern Indiana, where the local Amish schools take on an Amish flavor, and administration is likely to adapt aspects of the school program to reflect this. And just so you don't think that I'm just selectively choosing a source, I mean, this is a shit source. This is Wikipedia. There are Amish children who go to non-Amish public schools, even schools that are far away and that include a small Amish population. For instance, there have been some Amish children who have attended Leesburg Elementary School in Leesburg, Indiana, about 12 miles from Napanee, Indiana, because their families lived on the edge of the school district. They interact extensively. Kids are going to public school, and you're going to try to be like, oh, they don't. No, they don't. So what the fuck, dude? Amish, they own a lot of businesses in a variety of industries. Ones you wouldn't expect. Or maybe you would. The Amish operate woodworking businesses, making furniture, cabinets, millwork, and the like. They actually have a lot of demand for their work, too. Why? Because they are people who, they are the people you go to for a lot of lost techniques. If, say, restoring an old house or other structure, because they use those techniques that have been around for hundreds of years. The Amish operate retail stores of different types as well. Sorry to break it to you, but they do. Some Amish have turned their communities into tourist traps to make money off of out-of-towners, off of the English. With your example of the Amish, they aren't selling cookies, you dumb shit. They are shopping like anyone else would. You ignorant fuck. You've probably never left Vermont, and you do not get that, though. The whole leeches thing, that is just you proving you're a clueless fuckwit for sure, considering there are Amish doctors who've gone to medical school and serviced their communities like how doctors used to in the rest of the country, you know, doing house calls and shit. They don't use leeches, they don't vaccinate, they aren't barbarians who use medieval crackery. They are not against medicine. Willow tree bark, for example, is what is used to make aspirin, and they use it. They're not going to treat a headache with leeches, they're going to treat it with aspirin, even though it's the raw form from the willow tree bark, the unprocessed form of it. Acetylsalicylic acid, whatever friggin' fucking what's his face from Ghostbusters says when he's like, well, get the generic. I mean, Jesus Christ, you are so ignorant, dude. And the Amish are going out when they are sick in general public, like the rest of us do. The Amish aren't pussies who lay in bed all day because they have the sniffles. They would have to be really sick, like close to death, to not be out working. Why? Because it's part of their ethical code to be hard workers. They are made of a much sterner stuff than the majority of the rest of us.
Yeah, you know, don't assume that the Amish believe in child slavery, child working 9 to 5, yes, but not slavery in that manner. By the way, apparently in many Amish communities, especially the male children, they're forced to leave the community and go out into society for several years, like go to college, get a job, or whatever, just to see the outside world, and then they have to choose whether to be Amish or not. Most of them choose to return to the Amish place. Like, most of them, they're like, oh, fuck the outside world, it's filled with crazy people. All I want to do is raise barns and stuff. I don't blame them. There's something to be said for that pastoral kind of living, although I like the internet too much to be Amish. And I'm not a Christian. And I'm, like, blasphemous, so might be a little bit... I would be the one that's possessed. I would be the village demoniac, I guess. Oh, yeah, we had to ostracize him again. He was fucking throwing things at the cows and saying Satan, and it'd be so funny.
How the fuck is this even remotely relevant? Again, proving a fucking tangent brought on by your ADHD, dude. Be more concise and precise. This is, as I said, a complete tangent. So, yeah. There is also no 9 to 5 in the Amish community. Not even for the kids. You work from sun up till sundown. Period. End of fucking story. Both men and women leave the community. They are not forced to do so either. They are encouraged to do so. It is their choice to do it. Anyone who's seen an episode of Growing Up Amish could tell you that. Actually, they're kind of shunned from leaving. Not like shunned in the religious sense, but they're discouraged against it because they don't, they know that they got to leave, but they don't want them to leave in some cases. Not all of them. And also, no one cares what you would do in the Amish community. I know I don't. I'm sure a lot of other people don't give a fuck.
Man, I wish I could troll people more in real life, without getting fucking deplatformed by busybodies.
By trolling here, do you mean being a whiny cocksucker who spurgs out on people that counter your bullshit with facts like you are here with your comments and such in this video? That is, besides trying to label them as hippies, mental cases, and anti-vaxxers. If you want to try to troll me, Buttercup, go for it. I won't try to get you deplatformed. My saying it in this video you can use as proof of it. I'm not mundane Matt the Boulder King, so no worries on my flagging you. You want to come at me, bitch? Come at me. I will fucking destroy you. I will own your ass. You want to come at me? Seriously, do you? Bring it. Otherwise, pull your head out of your fucking ass. Because the lack of oxygen and sniffing your farts has fucked your brain up, boy.
But, so yeah, the Amish, and then you've got to understand the Amish don't use the public school system.
As I've already shown earlier, the Amish do use the public school system, you dumb fuck. Sorry, Styx, but you've been proven to be talking out of your ass here, like you have through this whole fucking video by me. They are also doing it while not being vaccinated, and there hasn't been a problem as a result. No outbreaks, no pandemics, the sky hasn't fallen, cats and dogs aren't living together, no mass hysteria. I think you get the picture. When I can debunk you like this, you need to learn to stop talking out of your ass because there will be more like me doing it.
The other part is really governmental. It's like, hey, we're going to put your kid at risk by having unvaccinated children in the school. We can show that vaccines will prevent this disease, but this family's stubborn. So, little Jimmy, who has to be in a bubble half the time, he's going to get measles and die. And it's okay. Like, we're going to allow that to happen. No, they shouldn't be using the public school system. Homeschool your kids if you want to be an anti-vaxxer. You believe crazy shit anyway, so you probably believe that your kid's going to be indoctrinated in school anyway. Keep them home.
Styx.
Hey, moron! Fucking moron!
If Jimmy is spending time in a bubble, he is living in it. Meaning he isn't going to public school and isn't under the threat of infection and dying, at least from some kid who isn't vaccinated. You stupid, ignorant fuck. As I said before, are the parents who homeschool because they didn't vaccinate their kids getting a pass on their part of their taxes going to education? I mean, if you're going to force them to do it, that would only be right. Here's another example of a straw man using an ad hominem attack with claiming people who question vaccine safety believe crazy shit. What is that? The third or the fourth one of those straw men? Jesus Christ. I really love Styx trying to pass off the indoctrination thing here. Like he is as supposedly like it is supposedly crazy shit when he's talked about this going on, not only in colleges, but also in public schools in previous videos of his. I find that very fucking funny. Has his tune changed on the indoctrination going on in colleges and public schools? Or was he just talking out of his ass, lying to cater to an audience that he was trying to attract? Makes you wonder. This is an honest question for Styx saying that. Are you now recanting on what you said about professors and teachers indoctrinating their students like you have with the SJWs and the like? You were either doing that or you were full of shit here. Which is it? Where you can't have your cake and eat it too. Sorry, buddy, but you can't. Which one is it?
Keep them home. Give them a Bible study lesson or something for all it's worth. By the way, I don't have a problem with the Bible being taught in school. It's who cares? At least they're reading. At least the kid's reading something. A lot of kids these days, the only time they read is when they open their fucking smartphone up, so it's a little bit of a problem too.
No one gives a fuck on your thoughts on the Bible being read or taught in school. You're not a Christian, you're not religious, don't care. This is just another example of you having ADD or ADHD, because it's a useless tangent. Maybe you should be on something to help you with that, buddy.
No, I'm pro-vaccine. Vaccines defeated smallpox, and if it weren't for anti-vaxxers and the occasional outbreak of war or you know, revolution or something, we can get rid of polio. There's only a couple reservoirs left.
Wow, you sure do like to talk out of your ass, Sticks. Smallpox was almost wiped out because of, again, proper sanitation, not vaccines. If you look at the number of cases from before and after the vaccinations introduction, it wasn't that significant of a change. Actual numbers say that, dumb fuck. Polio hasn't dropped dramatically since the introduction of Salk's vaccine either. Now, the next one is almost 2 minutes, and I apologize for that. But it's because he goes off on a tangent, and he needs to be medicated to keep focused, but we get back around to it.
Is getting rid of that one parasitic worm where it's only native now to one country in Africa. They've eradicated it across the whole continent pretty much, except for like one little area. Jimmy Carter...
Actually, you know what? I don't need to go through this, because what he does is fuck it. Because this video is already long enough. He talks about Jimmy Carter and some parasitic worm he's trying to eradicate from Africa. Then he moves on to talking about other presidents and how Bill Clinton could have syphilis or AIDS, with how his health looks. He then goes on about leprosy and how in the West it's pretty much gone, and how some armadillos are carriers of it, and talks out his ass on how if people get it, they can just put on a salve or cream on it, because he talks about a topical thing being put on. This is when you have to take very powerful antibiotics to cure yourself of it. It is this shit I don't need to go through to make my point, and it goes on for a little over 2 minutes. So fuck that. If you want to see it for yourself, I've put the link in the video description. So let's move on to 1216.
We've pretty much gotten rid of it. We can eliminate it. We can get rid of these diseases. But if you have an anti-vaxxer movement in an area where you still got a few reservoirs of polio, all of a sudden you start seeing little Jimmy Cratchit, you know, with his crutches and shit. You know, what is Tiny Tim or something? It's terrible. So yeah.
Okay. Polio has been eradicated in the United States for over 30 years at this point. If you have controlled borders and immigration and don't have people just showing up in the United States like you do in those hippie, trippy cities that have had measles outbreaks, it shouldn't matter if someone has had the vaccination. Why? Well, I don't know. Maybe because our country, we have proper sanitation and such. Because if those countries that do have the, you know, polio, if they had proper sanitation, their cases of it would be dramatically lower, because the primary transmitter of polio is human shit. With all the illegals in California, I'm surprised someone hasn't caught polio from stepping in a pile of it by now. Like the pile of shit I had to fucking crawl through with this goddamn fucking video. I mean, shit, Sticks. Let's see what they have to say about polio. Come on, you can say it with me. Polio. How is polio spread? Fecal-oral polio transmission. Polio transmission most often occurs through contact with stool from an infected person. The spread of polio virus can happen in one of several ways: eating food, drinking liquids, touching surfaces, sharing foods, da-da-da-da-da. How does polio spread? Polio virus is very contagious. It spreads through contact with stool of an infected person. You know, the droplets of spit and shit, not nearly so much, like mucus and spit. Shit is the major carrier. It's the one why it's leading the pack. Huh. Go figure, Sticks. If they didn't have shit in their streets, they wouldn't have the higher levels of polio. Because you can have people who are carriers that are not infected by it, who are shitting in the street.
I would say that vaccines are generally a good thing. I support their use, with the exception of flu that's over the top. You know.
All right, you know what? The rest of this video is just him in another ADHD or ADD-induced fucking tangent, talking about rabies and dropping bait with vaccine in it, and yeah. So I'm just going to, you know, stop at that point with the situation here of going through this, because I'm not going to sit through 2 minutes or a minute and a half of him talking about dropping rabies vaccine infused fucking bait when we're talking about anti-vaccine. You know, him calling his subscribers who provide facts contrary to his bullshit anti-vaxxers. As you can see, you know, Sticks here is a fucking piece of work. Like I said, Buttercup, you want to come at me? You want to troll me? Bring it. I fucking dare you. I'm not gonna flag you or pull any shit, because I'm calling you out here and I want you to come at me, because I've proven what a Spergang talk out your ass, no fucking jack shit in comparison to what you try to present yourself as knowing. Waste of fucking space on the internet. You've proven yourself to be a waste of space. Sorry, but you have. All right. Who's gotten high off his own farts? Who thinks he's smarter than what he is? Who thinks he's the smartest man in the room? You might think you're the smartest man in the room, but on the levels of your intelligence, you are seriously the idea of, the smartest kid with fucking Down syndrome when you pull this shit, because you don't look intelligent. You really don't. Anyway, please, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, etc. Spread it around. I know it's a long one, but Styx needs to be exposed for this shit. So anyway, this is way too long at this point, so I'm just going to leave things here. If you liked this video, depending on where you are watching it, please give it an upvote or thumbs up. If you want to know when new content of mine hits the internet, don't forget to subscribe to one or more of my social media or video accounts listed here. Also, with YouTube, don't forget to ring that bell. You can find all of my video content on both BitChute and YouTube. This may not be the case with other places I upload to, but I will try to minimize this happening. You are always welcome to interact with me at any of these sites on the list, so feel free to do so. If you have anything you want me to cover in a video, when it comes to news or current events, send it right along to me. I will try to do my best to cover it. As always, thank you for watching.